This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Here are the news headlines today that you need to know. Questions concerning global citizenship, acting as global citizens, global civil society and campaigning for human rights, cosmopolitan principles, and international law. Live here in our online classroom, this News 5. Good morning everyone, it's May 23, 2022. Questions concerning global citizenship will be in the report of Ms. Ira.
While I'm reading the article, it makes me sad. The reason is a lot of children cannot go to their own school and stop their learning because of the military action of Syria, and it's still happening in some countries. And also thinking what the children feel that time, they cannot go to their school. It's a heartbreaking for me since I also once a child that I'm so happy when I'm going to school because I can meet a lot of people and make friends to them. The military action can cause an effect to the children, not just for the physical health of a child and also for their mental health. For the physical health, some of children are abused or some tortured by those people who are higher or older than them. For their mental health, it can cause a lot of problem to their mental. Some children will have an anxiety, and the worst is the depression. This declaration is really a good move to remove the military checkpoints and the bases from the school, so that the school that will be damages are less or few only. And also this declaration can help every child to stay safe in their place of learning. The Philippines should sign the declaration also. We know that some of cities here in Philippines are in mess. Some people attacking the schools in broad daylight. And it can cause a lot of damages. And we know that the education is really important for the children because children can learn different new things that will need for their future. Important that we should care for their learning environment. The reason is children are the future of this globe. They will be the one who will continue all the things that we do now and will bring hope for their country. And this is Irene De La Rosa. You are watching News Served with Quality here at News 5.
Welcome po, nandito na naman po tayo sa isang edisyon ng Plato Nila, Hugasan Mo. Tapos kumain, maghugas. Tapos lumamon, limang hugas ng plato. Nyeta. Hugas. Lagi na lang ako. Maga ako. Tanghali ako.
Now, let's tackle acting as global citizen. But first, let us define global citizen. According to Oxfam, a global citizen is someone who is aware of and understand the wider world and their place in it. They take an active role in their community, work with others to make our planet more equal, fair, and sustainable. Since 1945, the global citizen is usually pictured as the activist on transitional social movement. Transitional social movement is a collectivity of groups with adherents in more than one country that is committed to sustain continuous action for a common cause or a common constellation of causes, often against government, international institutions, or private firms. It is according to Britannica 2022. The idea that traveling is an expression of cosmopolitanism. It is indeed debatable. Cosmopolitanism is the idea that all human beings belong in a single community. Mass tourism is the act of visiting a destination with large amount of people at one time, and the study of the effect that large amount of people can have on particular destination. Has nothing to do with increasing international understanding. It may have harmful effect on the environment and local culture. There are still troubles that are promoting international understanding, like exchange between school children. According to Oliver Goldsmith, international understanding is feeling that the individual is not only a member of his state, but the member of the world. For an instant, a student wants to study abroad because the quality of education or the good facility that they have seen while traveling in a certain country. The image of wandering scholar is still part of cosmopolitan view of world of learning. Government around the world wants to promote friendly relationship between other countries, so each of the side can benefit. In the beginning of the 21st century, there was the development of informal network and formal transitional organization. These organizations play an important role in the international politics. It would strengthen more than connection between the nation and could open a lot of opportunities. The existence of this organization can be interpreted as the creation of civil global city. As said in the website of Britannica, global civil society is typically refers to non-governmental groups such as Amnesty International, Greenpeace, and International Labor Organization, as well as less formal network of activists and citizens. Question can arise, of course, as to whether this group adequately represent their members, let alone a broader community. Not all the members of Transitional Association are acting as global citizens. They just basically promoting or expressing their problem for their own good and not concerning for other members. Those who belong to this organization meet in international conference to share their ideas and to call for state and international law to respect their rights, to copyright, and to earn income from their writing. Example of this international conference are International Congress of the International Association for Cross-Cultural Psychology, World Meeting of International Society for Research on Aggregation, International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies Annual Conference. Campaigning to transitional organization is committed to global causes. A success in campaigning transitional organization results to greater outcome and beneficial to its member. However, a failure in the campaign may result misunderstanding and disagreement between the said organization. And this is Yulia Idam Benitez. You are watching News Served with Quality here at News 5.
Mentioned in the previous reports are questions concerning the global citizenship, where each question is deliberately and carefully answered. What do you feel after reading the article to how Syrian military action affect the children in the country, both their mental and physical health? To the relevance of UK signatory to Safe School Declaration, Philippines signed the said declaration, and why should we care about children and their learning environment around the globe? In the latter part, it was discussed the other half of acting as global citizen. Highlights of it were global citizen, transnational social movement, cosmopolitanism, masterism, and international understanding. And now, let's proceed on the last half of acting as global citizen.
Cluster of opposition parties and groups of people are expressing the sufferings of people in other parts of the world, grew significantly in the 20th century. Many people around the world are making links across national frontiers to demonstrate support for cosmopolitan ideas. So, regardless of race, color, and beliefs of people, people unite in one to make a single community. Transnational organizations like Amnesty International, Oxfam, and Greenpeace cite discussions on global citizenship. According to Scriber 2022, global citizenship is an idea or concept that holds that, in addition to being a citizen of a particular state or nation, each person is also a member of the international community of all people. The idea of global citizenship is disputed and has supporters and critics. Discussion regarding on this matter is really important because it's not as easy to give a person easily a global citizenship or at least hold this title. It must be also said what global citizenship is and its purpose. Transnational movements usually involve political lobbying that involves advocating for an interest that is influenced by a decision made by government officials. Example of it is passing of a law and protest. People involved in transnational movements shows dissent in towards an idea or action that typically contradicts to what they believe. They usually show extreme form of resistance. For an instance, if there is a police presence on the protest site or a certain place, protesters will show extreme resistance in which the police will respond, creating a chaos. Transnational movements also have volunteers who directly help people who suffers from abuse, poverty, war, among others. Donation drives conducted by the volunteers also helps those who suffers catastrophe. It could be money, online cash donation are directly on the volunteers, or tangible things like food, clothes, medicine, medical supplies, construction supplies, and many more. Based on the previous report, global civil society typically refers to non-governmental groups. The concept of civil society has become central to social theory since the 1980s, when dissident intellectuals in Eastern Europe looked to social networks initiated from below to provide a sphere of independence from the state and a basis for resistance. The existence of autonomous social groups and institutions has been seen as essential to democratization, but in remaining communist regimes such as China and in other authoritarian states. Democratic theories has argued that civil society is essential to liberal democracies. A liberal democracy is a system of governing a country. It is one in which the citizens of the country have total freedom and equality, in excluding or completely banish the encroaching state or those who wants to steal the power from the previous state. Benefits in participating in voluntary bodies are political education and promotes responsible citizenship. Hegel and Marx conceptualized civil society as the sphere defined by the market economy and its resulting individualism and socially divisive effects, but most theories of civil society see it as a distinct from both the state and the economy. And this is Rose Ann Bernardo, live, and you are watching News Served with Quality here at News 5.
This is the continuation of Global Civil Society and Campaigning for Human Rights, Cosmopolitan Principles, and International Law. Ms. Liza?
Civil society also suggests very informal links. These informal links are the connection between two parties that is not properly recognized or there is no proper understanding in the said parties. The implication of global civil society must depend on how it is defined and the comparative economic and political power of groups within it. Global civil society poses a direct challenge to states when groups within one country ignore or oppose official policies to create links with citizens in other countries. And now, let's tackle to the campaigning for human rights, cosmopolitan principle and international law. But first, let us define the human rights and international law. According to UNICEF 2015, human rights are the standards that recognize to protect the dignity of all human beings. Human rights govern how individual human beings live in society and each other, as well as their relationship with the state and the obligation that states have towards them. On the other hand, international law is the collection of laws that are accepted as governing the relation between states. There are three types of international law: public international law, private international law, and the last one is the supranational law. There are also two branches of international law, and these are jus gentium and jus inter gentes. Cosmopolitanism generally believes in universal equality and human rights. These transnational organizations that support human rights are often being mentioned in discussion of global society and global citizenship. Richard Folk discussed how global civil society promotes a world order based on the human interests and rights of the human beings. Amnesty International, also referred to Amnesty or AN, is an international non-governmental organization that focuses on human rights. The location of their headquarters is in the United Kingdom. The organization says it has more than 10 million members and supporters around the world. Together with the region human rights bodies typify this move towards a law of humanity. Amnesty International is probably the best-known human rights campaigning organization with a separate international secretariat and section in many parts of the world. Example of this section is the Amnesty International Philippines. In this section, this came to existence in the 1980s as an advocate, lobbyist, and educator on human rights in the Philippines. It is used to exemplify the transnational action to protect individual rights. Amnesty has also played a role in strengthening global civil society. It can be also seen as a collective global citizen. Human Rights Watch, which is based in the USA, is one of those who play an important role in monitoring human rights worldwide and protesting about abuses. According to Britannica Human Rights Watch, they conduct fact-finding investigation of human rights abuses and monitors various countries to ensure they are not in violation of Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which outlines the fundamental civil, social, and political rights. And this is Liza Madera, live. You are watching news served with quality here at News 5.
That's our news for today. Once again, I am your news anchor, Marie Cris Del Rosario. Miss Ira, Miss Yula, Miss Rosan, and Miss Liza.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you, Marie. I am Irene De La Rosa.
I am Yulaiden D. Benitez.
I am Rose Ann Bernardo.
And I am Liza Madera.
Live here in our online classroom.
You are watching
News served with quality.
And no bias.
Here at News 5.